Well, hello everybody. Heading back to the mall. My girls are enjoying some shopping time. Dad's spoiling them. A little bit of Fantasyland for them. I snuck out to get my hubcaps for my rims, and I'm on my way back. So I'm gonna shoot this live. So there's a story that Russia destroyed a NATO command center in Ukraine. The NATO command center, Ukraine. We're not hearing anything about it. I can tell you all this. Russia and USA have back and forth for many, many decades not only captured each other's personnel, but they've put them to the death penalty too. Many, many times. Many, many decades, in fact. And that's happened back and forth. We can look at Rocky 3, the movie, Rambo 3, Sylvester Stallone in the 80s, and we can look at Afghanistan and America teamed up with the Taliban. We see how that went. In fact, we can go all over the world in history, folks. We can see Russia and USA on foreign soil going back and forth, and always it's that country that thought it would be a good idea to invoke Russia or USA in a conflict. And it's that country that always loses every time. Ukraine will be no different. It will be no different. A battlefield for Russia and USA. It will always be, as it always has been in history. What's real, what's not real? Did they destroy a command center? Well, Russia and all through Europe, they say yes. Western media says no, it didn't happen. Of course, it'll be many decades before we find out the truth. But here's some other things that are questioning minds that people should be asking in the West. If the ICC is going to be, when I say ICC, I mean the International Criminal Court, if they're going to be arresting Putin, why? Why, for the love of God? At the highest levels of world power, the United Nations Security Council in New York, USA, why is Russia taking presidency this month? In fact, why are the second most powerful offices of Russia in the entire world going strong? No big deal in New York, USA. New York, USA. The ICC is subject to all 5 P5 members. They all have a veto. And if your country utilizes the ICC, you must have all 5 nations at your back. If you don't, you lose. You lose. There are only 5 nations in the world you ever need absolutely to have in any international authority, whether it's the International Court of Justice for monetary easing, all kinds of other aspects, usually financially, and trade pacts, or ICC for absolute criminal justice. You need to have all P5. That includes Russia, China, USA, UK, and France. If you don't have them, if you have one veto, regardless of how many countries from the lowest tier General Assembly vote in your favor, if you get one of those 5 saying no, you get no justice. Zero justice. Do you think the ICC, who only has authority to recommend to the unified P5 criminal action, criminal charges, do you think when they are subject to the 5 that Russia's going to vote for their own arrest of Vladimir Putin or anybody else in Russia? The answer is obviously no. The media lies. And folks, if the Western media isn't lying to you, then why the hell is Russia, as of tomorrow, which is 12 a.m., just a few hours away, really, why are they taking world dominance on the international stage based out of New York? Why are they in charge of the United Nations Security Council? Well, that's very easy, folks. USA does not want to declare World War III against Russia. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. UK wants it. France wants it. Countries like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they want it. And many, many other crown colonial constitutional monarchies, because they define people as subjects, which are slaves. There's never been any end to slavery. It's only been an end to specific race slavery, specific religion or ethnicity slavery, but not universal class structure. If you are a third-class subject, you are a slave. About half the second class is a slave too. Those who are loyal to the first class and those age-old designs get a lifeboat, so to speak. But they've got to be good second class. They've really got to kiss the ass of the first class, or they're not included. That's how it works. And sadly, through religion, ethnicity, or race, usually those who hold the legal title to the land but don't have the legal authority are then defined as the savage class. In Germany, that was the Jews. In South Africa, that was the native First Peoples, the black South Africans of South Africa. And sadly, we can go all through all the colonial countries, but for Canada, that is all the First Peoples defined as Treaty Indian, whether they're seated or unseated, off reserve, first and foremost. Then it's the Métis, and absolutely the Inter-Circumferential Polar Council, ICC Arctic, Inuit of Canada. They too fall under the Indian Act. These are all the defined savage peoples for being red-skinned. I know they're not physically red, but that is how the colonial systems define them, as the red-skinned savages, the original peoples to be liquidated or to be converted through assimilation into third-class subjects. That's how it works. This has been repeated all over the world. It was the promise of the Allies, World War II, never again. But as we see, there are many countries who still embrace that system, still go forward. I've released much in the last 24 hours, highlighting Poland and the removal of all Christians based largely in the doctrine of discovery or papal bull doctrine. Now, Protestants and Catholics, if you don't know the history, Poland's Protestants, that was Artur Pulaski. There's nobody to bring any other evidence forward to dispute what I'm saying, because it was all true. All true. This is Danielle Smith, all of the liberals, all of the former liberal conservatives who are still registered that way, but they became progressive conservatives, and now they're the CPC today, and absolutely the United Conservative Party of Alberta. I can go through every province and show you in their changes. The Saskatchewan Party is the exact same thing in Saskatchewan. Scott Moe, who pushed through the Saskatchewan First Law, Bill 1, that we're going to be taking to Russia starting Monday morning. We're going to highlight it. Now, Danielle Smith chickened out. I'm glad she did. But the Treaty 6, 8, and 7 overlap into Saskatchewan, and Treaty 10. I made a promise, and I'm going to finish that promise. I'm going to the UNSC Monday morning. We're going to highlight Scott Moe. Russia's extremely pissed with Canada right now. That is absolutely all of your liberals, all of your conservatives, all of your new Democrats. Now, the weight of Bloc I'd have to look at their votes as they went forward against the Allies of World War II, but they don't hold Canada-wide registry. They're not looked at the same way because they're limited to only 2 provinces. They have not a real status in Canada, so they don't show up on the monitors in the United Nations Security Council like the Liberals, Conservatives, and NDP do. The Allies of World War II did massive investigation from 1984 all the way up to 1993. You can watch Liberals and Conservatives alike, with the support of NDP and Pure Votes, quickly through the 1985 Criminal Code transformation all the way to absolutely 1994's transformation when Canada quit the ICJ. And all these lying lawyers, perverts from all 3 parties, good Crown Colonial sworns, are going to find out the truth over the next 30 days. We're lied to by media, we're lied to by all those registered Crown parties, and you're all going to see it. The media can't explain why the second most powerful man in Russia, number 2 and absolutely bound in constitutional law, Putin has no choice but to obey. If you've never read the Russian Federation's constitution, you should read it. It's right in the first preamble. They're bound to international law. And Vladimir Putin must obey his parliament. He must obey those 85, well, now it's 88 regional governors. He must obey. If he doesn't, he will face a coup d'etat. People blame Putin, but they don't bother to read Russia's constitution. I have at least 85 Russian regional constitutions. They're all in Russian. Years ago I tried to find Russian translators. It's over 7,800 pages. I haven't been successful yet. It costs a lot of money and I don't have the financial capacity. I was going to go, and a lot of people have followed me for a long time, I was going to take the Russian injections for COVID-19, but I ended up getting COVID anyway, and then we went into endemic. And now with the war, good luck going to Russia and getting home. My only hope is to go to New York and go to the UNSC P5, lay out a letter to all 5, and hopefully get an audience with Dmitry Plansky. He's very good in English. He's very skilled. It's not the same for the representative, but he's the deputy. But if I could talk to Dmitry, he could speak in Russian to the representative, Vasily Nebenza. And that's all I can hope for, and that's what I want to try. But this 30 days is critical. Hopefully Elon Musk doesn't block Russia on Twitter or end our accounts, those that won't pay his $8 a month, which I won't. Elon's an escapee from the dismemberment, redesign, and re-education of all South Africa's elite. He escaped. Elon Musk escaped. He poisons America, just like all the billionaires everybody talks about. Elon's one too. He escaped dismemberment and redesign. He escaped all that, unlike everybody else. His family left with likely conflict diamonds. His brother's a billionaire chef. That's an impossible task. You'll never find a family where individual siblings all developed billionaires, let alone a super divine socialist preying on American taxpayers like Elon Musk, and then his chef brother, who somehow became the world's greatest billionaire chef. An impossible task. There's only one way that was done. Somebody escaped with conflict diamonds. Somebody went to another constitutional monarchy designed exactly the same way as South Africa, because it was done first, and that's of course Canada. Canada's the first model, and Elon and his family escaped there with all their stolen wealth from genocide, fascism, and divine socialism. They went to BC, Cascadia, the largest source of unceded land in Canada, the number one source of Indian wars alive and well today in Canada. And they went there, and then they spread out, and then they snuck in to the States under the radar. People think he's a Republican, he's a rhino. He's a fascist, divine socialist. All you have to do is look at his empire. With his cars, his SpaceX, it's all largely on the backs of the American taxpayers. They know what they're doing. It's corruption of extreme masses, and I hope people start waking up. We're lucky Fox News. I don't know how long Tucker's going to be able to go, but he's awakening to a lot. He's probably the last source of legitimacy on these issues. And I hope the Republicans come back. I hope they come back strong, because I don't know how far Joe Biden's willing to go. For folks who haven't read the 2021 Atlantic Charter by one Joe Biden, within literally a month of being elected to office, after January 6th and all of it, from ascension in February, it was within March time, he signed the new Atlantic Charter, tearing up the 1941 Atlantic Charter, tied to the 1942 Yalta Conference. 2 military treaties, the highest military treaties in the entire world. Joe Biden said, fuck you, Russia. Fuck you. And fuck all my American people. The promise of never again, Joe Biden ripped it up. The first president, the worst president in American history by a long, long shot, is why Russia invaded Ukraine, because Joe Biden ripped up that military agreement, rewrote a new one, embracing the crown, embracing divine socialism, divine capitalism. Yes, that's constitutional monarchies. Yes, that's fascism and National Socialism combined. That's what Joe Biden did. Said, fuck China, fuck Russia. I'm the new America. The America where my citizens, we the people, when they leave American shores and go out to the world, they will be subjects. They will be subjects to that age-old system, pre-League of Nations, old world order. You can't get away with it domestically, but under the executive power of president, he got away with it on the international stage. And he has turned the world upside down. And until somebody makes a new executive order, hopefully a smart, decent Republican president, as was Richard Nixon, who strengthened the world forevermore. And sadly, like Ronald Reagan said, we're only one election away ever from losing all our rights and freedoms. There's monumental intellectual property in this video. It's real. It's credible. It's verifiable. USA's problems financially in their institutions are only going to grow because America can't whip the citizens of the United States, whereas most of Europe, absolutely Canada, Australia, New Zealand, will whip the subjects and savages forever and a day, transferring as much wealth from the people, the divine subjects and savages, as they have to keep their divine elites wealthy, large, and in charge. America can't match that, not domestically. It's why the banks are falling. Joe Biden is unable to breach the Constitution of the United States. Not yet. He's unable to breach the Supreme Court of the United States. Not yet. Not yet. The Constitution and we, the people of the American system, since its 1780s absolute embedments, can't be stopped. 1776 all the way through the Supreme Court development into the 1780s. It can't be stopped. Joe Biden doesn't have that strength. Not yet. Will the Republicans find somebody somebody better than Donald Trump, because he isn't running on all cylinders either. I hope he comes back, but it's not looking good, folks. We need a real, smart, credible, Richard Nixon-style intelligence, a Ronald Reagan-style intelligence, or a JFK-styled intelligence that's going to come forward that understands America and the American people and will right this great wrong. If they don't, folks, if they don't, this world's going to go back to that old world, and men, women alike, and races, religions, and cultures. You will lose so many rights, human rights that did not exist before World War II. Canada can get yet much, much worse. World War III would be much, much worse. And who are the big winners? The defiant elite. Who goes to war? It's the children of the subjects and savages who go to war, while those divine elites are protected in protected shelters, an escape route, because there's only enough lifeboats for the first class and only half the second class. Look at the percentage of the world population that is. It's very small. Don't let them win. Share because it's credible. Share because there's a tremendous amount of truth that is easily backed up, and you're going to see it for the next 30 days. We're being lied to. Nobody can explain. The media is starting to go, wait. I wrote a tremendous paper for the entire world. Many governments took my paper. My Oxford submission, I didn't win. But I won with most of the world governments out there today. Many shared it. Many were impressed. My biggest regret of that paper was leaving out the chapter on Japan. It's my greatest regret, but hey, not every paper's perfect. No paper is. But the nature of international law, as it really is one of probably the greatest works I've ever accomplished. And at least in my life going forward, that's always there. And time again, that paper proves beyond any reasonable doubt what the world really is and how it really works. And I think the media now is looking at it. What the hell's going on here? Everything we're being told to publish is a fucking lie. And if that's a lie, what else is a lie? Was the NATO Command Center destroyed? There are many groups that say it is. All of a sudden, what you could read just 6 months ago on how many people have been arrested, executed, how many Russians have been executed in the States, how many CIA operatives executed in Russia, and there's never been a World War III over any of that. There's been world leaders executed by all the P5. That's all removed right now from history. Can't find any of it. The only place you're going to find it is on my Facebook, buried in years of screenshots and published screenshots. I'm probably one of the only sources left for general public, probably the only source. And it's scary, but that's the world. We're not in charge. A garbage can country like Canada is not in charge. You don't have the authority. South Africa, all those political parties were destroyed, dismembered, removed, elections voided. The P5 did that. They did that in penmanship, and even UK took the knee after years and years of veto, leaving Nelson Mandela to rot for 30 years in prison, done by the royal family through the House of Lords. And yes, many prime ministers saw it through on the beck and call of the largest source of fascism, the royal family today. They are, always have been, always will be. Charles is the worst pervert. You want to know where the Atlantic Charter 2021 comes from? Go read. Then Prince Charles, under his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, the Commonwealth Charter 2012 that all the countries signed away. Harper did that. Green New Deal, the building blocks of now the New Atlantic Charter, that filthy, greasy, seedy, seditious and treasonous Joe Biden signed against we the people and the Constitution of the United States of America. These charges, these indictments against Donald Trump, when the next time Republicans win House and Senate together in majority, you're going to watch old Joe Biden go to jail. You're going to watch it. It's a precedent now, and it's never going to end. Never going to end. America's in a lot of trouble. They need an executive power amendment. I'm not in charge of USA. I'm just a low Canadian. I can't change America. I know what they need to do, but we have to do it here at home in Canada. It's us who has to do it. The party we're building, PCC, Party of the Canadian Constitutionalists. We have to show the world. We have to show the P5 we understand and we know what we're doing. We have to show them a light. We have to show them how to codify executive power. You, the people, each and every one of you are the power. And collectively and individually in your presentations, winning that majority, showing the world you can understand international binding law and you can codify a real system even better than theirs. Not that theirs are bad or broken, they're just very old. They need upgrades. And it's our chance. A country between Russia and USA, a little country who has a chance. You, the people, to show them it can be done. We can show you we understand. We can build something that you can all be proud of. You can all get behind. And then we can influence the world. And then maybe Americans will wake up and say, yeah, this executive power was wrong. The founding fathers couldn't believe in their time that any executive could come forward so corrupted against we the people. Go back to the crown. They can't believe it. They wouldn't believe it. But it's happening. And we have to show the world how to correct that. We, the little country Canada, can do that. We can be a force of light for everybody. Little needles change things. Every little action, everything affects everybody else. People want to change the world, but we're just too small. Let's change ourselves. Let's do something we can do. Party of the Canadian Constitutionalists promises to power the people and shine a light of hope for the rest of the world. Show them it can be done in a peaceful, advanced way. Within their broken system, we can harness that evil and turn it into good for all the people. We can take that crown and shatter it into 40 million pieces for every man, woman, and child in Canada, for the First Peoples and Canadians alike. A 50-50 deal. We can show the world it can be done. We can show them how to get out of the darkness, how to fight against the evil of human nature, and show the world that we understand when we said never again, and we made that promise that the world would be a better place. We can do that. Just little Canada, just right there on each side of Russia and USA. And maybe they'll say, hey, it did work out. Maybe if these little people can do it, maybe we can too. All we can do is try. Share, share, share. Monumental, credible intellectual property here. Nobody can dispute it. The media is struggling with it right now. My paper, The Nature of International Law as It Really Is. That's the truth of it. Time and time again. Our corrupted, paid media, by the Conservatives' Bill C-10, then by Trudeau's Liberals C-11. It's all there, forever and a day, back and forth. You will find no crown colonial parties embracing the crown that are any different than the Liberals or Conservatives. They're all one crown system. The illusion of democracy, a two-face. One side is the public side, the House, the limited democracy. And then on the other side, you have Dr. Jekyll, and then you have Mr. Hyde, the evil side of the crown, that does horrendously autocratic and disgusting, tyrannical, fascist, National Socialist agendas combined against all the people. Horrific, horrific evil and all of their great wealth accumulations and absolutely all of your destruction and expense. We see the worst genocide in the history of the world attached to that system. We can end it, at least for Canada, and show the world a peaceful means to accomplishing it. God bless everybody. Share, share, share. Real, credible, and verifiable. You're going to watch it all month. I'm going to post live videos. Explain Vasily Nebenza. Explain Dmitry Pilansky. Explain the presidency of the UNSC this month. I'll share all the videos, and I'm going to throw Scott Moe to the wolves. I'm going to throw him to the wolves. You want to play master and commander of human rights? You're going to be the one going down. Rightly so, Danielle Smith panicked, and I'm glad she did. But now Scott Moe, he went ahead, and now he is going to be put on the chopping block first. That's my mission this month. For the Treaty Indian people, numbered Treaty Indians, Saskatchewan, and all the Alberta overlaps. God bless everybody. Take care. Bye now.